presentations as Mr. Green and anybody else who wanted to but is choosing not to.
Thank you. This should be under 10 minutes, but if not, just give me the flag and I'll cut it. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your service to the community, specifically to our Board of Health. I know that this has not been easy. It hasn't been easy for me or anyone in this room. And we really appreciate you giving everyone the time to speak. Not just the experts, not just the people paid to be here, but the people who live this every single day. And I want to end where the process began. Not with the models, not with the projections, but with the people, the residents of Hudson, our people, our families, our friends. Because when this hearing ends, and when the lawyers leave, and the paid consultants leave, we all will be left here in town, dealing with whatever the decision is. And this process has been hard on all of us, and it's honestly been pretty sad. I don't think anyone knew the extent of the damage that was currently happening in town due to the transfer station. In that regard, this process has been enlightening. But it's sad to hear how many of these dangers are not hypothetical, not modeled. They are already happening in our town and to our people. Because at this core, this decision comes down to one word: danger. Not inconvenience, not preference. Danger to public health, safety, and to our environment. And the question's simple. Does bringing more than double the amount of trash into a small town neighborhood, next to an elementary school, surrounded by a wetland, plus adding 400 additional more trucks every day, does this constitute an increase to danger? Or pose a risk to increasing danger? Yes, it does. You've heard a lot of information from all people, but what stands out most is not what was proven, but what wasn't proven or even investigated. No pedestrian safety plan for children walking to school next to the transfer station. No meaningful analysis on idling emissions, no vehicle queuing study, no walkthrough of the school property or even conversations with the people that run the school. But there was time to meet with the Rod and Gun Club several times and do that walkthrough. No testing of any actual air. And when we asked their air expert if air pollutants can still cause harm, even when under national and state standards, he said yes. This confirms, without a doubt, that there is a risk of danger to the health of our children and our community. That matters. Matters the most. Because the standard is not whether harm is guaranteed. It is whether this expansion would present a danger. And when risks are not studied, they're not quantified, they're not mitigated, that is not uncertainty. That is absolute risk. And even beyond the gaps in analysis, there is something just as important to our community and our town, and that is trust. Because this entire proposal is built on promises. Promises that they'll manage the traffic. Promises that they'll control the idling. Promises that they'll follow the rules. Promises that they'll operate within normal business hours. How can we be expected to trust? How can we trust them as a good neighbor when they don't even follow the rules now? They operate well outside normal business hours, repeatedly. They accept trucks late. They accept trucks early. They leave trucks idling. Trucks continue to use roads and bridges they shouldn't use, despite being GPS monitored. They don't feature any Portuguese signage, even though it was required in the Solid Waste Management Agreement 5 years ago. We have a dual language town. They don't submit quarterly complaint reports as required in their contract, and we all know there have been a lot of complaints as seen by the 500 pages of testimony brought in. So this is not a question of what they say they will do. We know through experience that they do not deliver on promises, and that puts us inherently at risk. Hudson doesn't even need an increase in capacity. This level of risk brings no meaningful benefits to our town. The benefits that they point to are already delivered. The municipal trash collection, the DPW use of the facility, that's not new, that's status quo. What is new is the additional cost to the taxpayers. What will it cost the town to respond to more accidents? For example, what was the cost of cleaning up the hydraulic spill and tipping up the BP trash truck that tipped over a couple weeks ago? What's the ongoing cost to repave the roads, worn down prematurely by more heavy truck traffic? What are we spending on DPW labor to clean up debris outside the transfer station over and over and over? What is the real cost of the 15 years of health impacts that we have carried since we've waited for BP to fulfill their promise to push the transfer station back? Now that promise is being used as leverage. We'll move it back only if you increase the capacity. Shame on you. As Tom Green noted right before me, this expansion plan is built on a long list of assurances that have not been kept. Bad behavior should not be rewarded. During these 9 sessions, BP had an opportunity to show responsibility, an opportunity to show good faith, an opportunity to demonstrate that they care about the impact on our town. And it's clear that they do not. They didn't clean up their site. They didn't adjust their operations to conform to the normal business hours, even during the hearing. They didn't change their behavior. If they had real empathy for this community, our community, if they truly understood the impact that we feel, they would have started immediately fixing what is entirely within their control. But they didn't. And that tells you everything you need to know. When people show you who they are, believe them. You heard from the residents who lived here. You heard about the trucks crossing the center line on the blind turns over and over and over again. You saw the videos of pets eating rats, the rats in the backyard, the rats running across the schoolyard. You heard the fear for the children, the mental torment, the constant disruption. These are not hypothetical concerns. These are lived experiences by our people. And they were consistent across all voices. As members of the Board of Health, you were elected to do one thing above all else: protect public health, safety, and the environment of this town, our people. As Mike Hugo from the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards has taught us, the Board of Health has always been driven by people over profit. He said that even if something just feels off, if something's missing, if it feels like there's any risk at all, you have the authority to say no. He also said that the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court has consistently upheld the authority of a Board of Health decision 100%. The courts back you, and so do we. We are asking you to act in the best interest of the people who will still be here tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. The hundreds of people that have come through these doors during these 9 sessions, soon to be 10, and are watching from home are ready and able to design a better future for our town. We have the people power to make big changes. We just need you to say no. For the safety of this town, for the health of the residents, for the protection of the environment, please, I am begging you, please just say no. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
that, I